Good afternoon, you beautiful homunculus, and welcome to Doom the Dark Ages, the sequel prequel to the critically acclaimed Doom Eternal amounts of Ritalin in my system, as psychosis and or substance abuse is a barrier of entry for ensuring peak levels of giga, testosterone, heavy metal, demon genocide, and this installment to the franchise is no different, except they gave Doom Man a fucking cape and Beyblade shield. Sold, bro's aura is Googleplex, but that's not all. A fresh reworked combat system, new level design, mechanics, and even more spastic biblically accurate lore. So please, exercise your daemon succubus and put your 8-string to drop F tuning and join me as we barrel headfirst into Doom the Dark Ages. As an Adonis of obesity who has sunk hundreds of hours into both Doom 2016 and Eternal, there was some wumbo-sized crocs to fill, though with what was revealed radiating enough male growth hormones to make the Liver King blush, I can confirm that if you like either of the previous Doom titles, you will probably enjoy this primal unga-bunga adventure. I certainly did. If you were looking for more of the carpal tunnel-inducing gameplay of Eternal, you'll be surprised to see the core gameplay loop has been flipped tits up, going for a slower, less liquid crack style. Because you see, each of these games is its own beast and requires vastly differing playstyles. Kudos to the devs for changing it up and experimenting with new ideas. I'd choose this over the yearly copy and paste Ubisoft slop, and while certain comparisons of core gameplay elements are inevitable, I'll do my best to see Dark Ages through a separate lens. The phrase "unstoppable force meets many movable objects" encapsulates the gameplay to a T. Doom the Dark Ages emphasizes a stand-your-ground approach, rather than zipping around like a god-slaying cockroach. This style complements the grimdark aesthetic. You feel like a hulking tank of mass destruction, parrying and obliterating anything with a pulse. And while the game is by no means slow, being able to process my surroundings is not how we do things in these parts. Navigate to the difficulty menu, increase game speed to max, disable toggle sprint, and launch a cyber attack on the residents of Marty Stratton, the Antichrist. Uses a vast array of badass weaponry to inflict maximum carnage while repelling the forces of hell, the most pivotal of these tools being the Doom Shield. This bitch has it all, and is what the entire combat system is built around. It boasts both defensive and offensive options, the standard guarding against incoming damage and the No You maneuver, which has optional acquirable abilities that we'll talk more about shortly. But as they say, gamers, the best defense is to hurl your death frisbee and or thick booty frame at the enemy. Throw the discombobulator see you later hater and nader into groups of fodder, these fucks, or into more plump individuals, creating openings for dealing massive damage. You get the point. And my favorite, the Shield Bash, not only for dealing crippling blows to enemies, but to traverse, reposition, and zoom through the arena with brisk elegance. Not only does the Slayer have these vascular rippling guns, but a vast assortment of new and returning ranged and close quarters weaponry. The individual who came up with some of this shit had to be on that Zaza. For instance, the retractable bowling ball. This gun that uses skull fragments as ammunition. Better yet, the portable crucifixion device. Take that, atheists. And of course, the now canonically named What's that? How did I make this chode you see here into this elongated specimen without joking, you ask? Mods, mods, mods. Mods are alternate weapon variants that allow for rapid, seamless adaptation in the midst of battle. Never let them know your next move. Skin the infants, drive a train. But tell me, do you like trees? They're the Earth's lungs after all. Without them, how would I make a crafting table? Well, bucko, each weapon and variant has different upgrade trees. Said upgrades are acquired by pillaging and plundering gold and holy relics from the poor. It's unfortunate to hear you're all starving, but thanks to your noble sacrifice, all my firearms are now plated with gold. The shrine skill trees are a first in a Doom game, contrast to the mostly linear progression system of the previous installments. This encourages experimentation with different builds, throwing shit at a wall so to speak, to find the most broken and or fun combination of equipment for tearing demon ass. I personally use the super shotgun because shit hits like a neutron star. The bowling ball, which had an ability after a successful parry, you get a full charge blast, stripping any fatty boom boom of their armor. Sprinkle in the cycler for some range, maxed out auto turret shield rune that melts everything, and the nail gun for on the fly lobotomies, and you've got a fantastic time. And while build variety certainly is poggers, for a series like Doom that's always encouraged full use of the arsenal, it can also be a double-edged sword. No weapon is quote-unquote turbo dog shit. All are viable, you could absolutely finish the game with all of them. Though, once you find that amalgamation of weapons that just has you steamrolling through these cretins, the rest of the arsenal kind of gets put on the back burner. resulting in the encounters becoming repetitive in the way you approach them, at least in my personal opinion. There's just really no benefit to alternating and or synergizing guns, which is a damn shame, as all of the weapons feel and play so well. Acquiring new gear in Doom has always felt like a new, powerful addition to your arsenal. Here, you're seemingly punished for trying to use other weapons in relative succession to each other.
But Lord Dumbass, it isn't Doom Eternal 2, you idiot.
I'm not asking for carpal tunnel quick switch god gameplay. I understand the design choice, but during the dance of combat, it can feel disjointed and inconsistent to switch up weapons sometimes. As stated previously, the Dark Ages puts the brakes on the copious amounts of neurological disorders and extra appendages required for a pacing more akin to the slower classic arcade style. Look, they even got the thing. Sometimes slowing down and grounding oneself is important in this race we call life. You never know when the big man upstairs wants to meet you, so enjoy the journey. Do things that bring you joy and purpose. Lore update. Tummy hurts, yet I persist. Just like any good hate crime, it's who you target that matters most. And Doom always has a diverse cast of Hellspawn to really test your mettle against. Some completely change how you approach an encounter, and some need to be dealt with swiftly, and others exist solely to get up in your shit. As seen with the leader system, empowered pseudo-boss demons that upon defeating, you consume their innards via transdermal absorption for permanent upgrades to vitality, armor, and ammo. This system was fun and rewarding, but the surrounding design choices are where a few glaring issues arose while I was familiarizing myself with the combat loop. For instance, the game is stacked with a bunch of systems that at first glance add substance and depth to the combat. Enemy weak points, tools to expel specific threats, abilities to use to gather specific resources, etc. And they work as intended, so what's the problem? Well, they're kind of just half-sharded out. They didn't really change the way I'd approach a fight, as there's no urgency or payoff to utilizing any of the aforementioned game mechanics. Maybe because every enemy you are up against is dealt with in a near identical way, parrying certain attacks, which is fucking all of them, okay, and then punishing with melee or whatever you're holding. Visually, the enemy types were abundant, but no matter how threatening or dangerous the Vagina Baron seemed, his fate would be the same, parried into oblivion. The problem here isn't a lack of game mechanics to use from, it's the lack of cohesiveness between them. The shield was the best part of the combat, but it eclipses certain mechanics instead of adding to them. Why would I aim for weak spots if parrying is stronger? Change weapons when they never run out of ammo. Utilize weapon abilities to cripple targets or replenish resources when the shield is more effective at that. But I must emphasize, I still had a bombastic time with the combat. Yes, it didn't feel as crisp and orgasmic as Eternals, but one, who gives a shit about my opinion? And two, it isn't Eternal, it's the Dark Ages, and ripping and tearing until it is done, no matter what's missing, will always put a smile on my face. Boss fights, an area that Doom isn't exactly recognized for. Eternals were especially egregious. That being said, I was pleasantly surprised by how much better the boss fights in the Dark Ages were. The shield felt perfectly built for these one-on-one clashes between titans. Sure, it's a little spammy, nothing groundbreaking design-wise, but you don't play Doom expecting the next Slave Knight Gale. Prince Arsecrack and this porker were peak in their presentation and execution, and an absolute blast to fight. Though, Doom isn't a boss rush game. It's a clusterfuck of things all shapes and sizes trying to defile and kill you at all times. So basically the average experience of being a lone female, but this bitch is 6'8" and absolutely strapped. Anyway, this style of combat only works in well-designed arenas, and the Dark Ages features broad, open, and flat levels that complement the combat's forward momentum. There's some verticality in semi-open world levels which were alright, but it's just not interesting enough to larp on about, because your time matters. Mwah. Speaking of level design, the Atlan and Dragon levels, ooh boy, I was pumped for these. Well, the gameplay was straight arse, yet for the reasons it was straight arse was why it was fun. The sheer scale and badassery of fisting titans in the Doom Jaeger and learning to train our good boy was fantabulous. If you know, you know. Even though these sections were disappointing gameplay-wise, they only make up like 30 minutes of the gameplay throughout the whole campaign, so they don't overstay their welcome at least. And while the level layouts may be lackluster, the art direction absolutely blew my socks off. God damn did I eat that shit up. I couldn't get enough of the gritty, savage, and beautiful world, often pausing just to absorb the true scale and beauty of my surroundings, which is saying a lot about a game as fast as Doom. But just look at this shit. you'll be soaring through floating cities, trudging blood-torn battlefields, and massive sentinel strongholds, diving into the infernal depths of hell, wading through dense corrupted forests, and whoops, snorted some DMT and have found myself in the cosmic realm of the ancient eldritch gods. I've always wanted to visit Greenland. It's where the 5G lizard men reside. And as much as I could keep glazing the artistic design of all these levels, it ain't Doom without a killer OST. And following Bethesda completely fucking over our god Mick Gordon.
Look at my ship. Is it pink? No, it isn't. Is that water? Can I go in there? No, I can't.
His successors, Finishing Move Inc., had massive shoes to fill, and respect to them, they did a great job. That said, once my playthrough concluded, I legitimately couldn't remember a single track. In fact, did the game even have music? So I gave the official album a listen, and where the fuck were these filthy riffs at? This points to poor mixing, explaining why it was muffled and flat, and completely drowned out by other sound effects. Yes, I turned it up. These problems were fixed, and it sounds way better now, but I kinda already finished the game. So yeah, great soundtracks that fit the Dark Ages vibe, but when they fail to cut through anything, it leaves a 10,000 scale crater in a core element of what makes Doom, Doom. Don't expect a coherent and intricately told narrative, just the way a dumbass like me wants it. Raw. And the perfect approach for Doom. Here's everything you need to know in a nutshell. John Dark Ages is enslaved as a super weapon by the Makers, who exploit his hatred for their demons to serve their own means. No way this tub of lard can contain this. Bitch, that's him. And there he goes. Good lord, do I love a man who is so dangerous that he needs to be surrounded by artillery and have an implanted cataclysmic explosive device just in case. The story is essentially a highlight reel for this terrifying demigod to aura farm and watch the other characters' reactions to whatever insane thing this unstoppable killing machine does. The Doomslayer is the plot, because sometimes it takes a man to be best girl. There wasn't a single dull moment. Not even Zinch could predict the ever-escalating demented turns the story takes. I'd think it can't get any more badass than this, right? You see, trying to explain, let alone understand what's going on in a Doom game is pointless, because you're not supposed to. It's this perfect storm that I can't recommend you experience yourself enough. And we made it to the end. This game was a lot of fun to cover, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I should appear somewhere within your home in the next week, and if you can find me, I will give you 10 Googleplex worth of your desired currency. Again, thank you for watching. Consider subscribing for more slop like this. And until next time, take care.